So the full definition is a multiple family unit is a type of residential property that includes multiple separate housing units within one building or complex. These units are designed to accommodate more than one family living independently of one another. Multifamily properties can range from small duplexes, triplex to large apartment building with hundreds of units. So what we're going to pretty much focus on today will be more the 2 to 4 unit, which more attainable for most people because those apartment complex is a whole
It's a whole nother ballgame.
It's another beast.
Yeah.
So hey guys, welcome back to a new episode at Let's Keep It Real Now. I am your host, Danielle Bilumbu, and I'm here with my bestie,
Abu Jabi with AMP Lending. How y'all doing?
How are you today?
Doing well. On this rainy day.
Summer.
Yeah.
Yep. Summer. Do you have any plan?
Not really. Just trying to keep the kids busy. Try to find some programs, some things to put them in to keep their minds going while they're out of school. My oldest son, he's about to leave and go to college, so we're pretty excited about that. So that's it.
Are you excited or you excited something to go? I'm kidding.
I'm excited.
Are you crying?
Mom.
Say the truth, you crying.
No, I'm not. I think it's time. I mean, he's a junior now. He's been going to community college. He went to U of H. Mm-hmm. Now he wants to transfer to UT Arlington. So I just want him to get out there and grow and be the best version of himself he can be.
But that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, I'm still trying. I told my kids they may have some exercise and work and some English and French and some math and science. My daughter looked at me and she said, you ruined my life.
Yeah. Yeah. But look, as parents, we have to keep the envelope. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep them going, occupied, and make it to where, trying to just let them be a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
Through our guidance.
Exactly. But as we are here, some of you are watching today, we want to talk to you about multiple family. I'm sure some of you heard about it. And that sounds kind of, it's a sexy word and people like to talk, I'm going to buy a multiple family, It sounds very super cool. So the goal today is for you guys to learn a little bit more about it. What are the differences? What's a multiple family? So let me give you a simple definition. I pull it.
You looked it up?
I look it up just to make sure, I'm saying it right. So the full definition is a multiple family unit is a type of residential property that includes multiple separate housing units within one building or complex. These units are designed to accommodate more than one family living independently of one another. Multifamily properties can range from small duplexes, triplex to large apartment building with hundreds of units. So what we're going to pretty much focus on today will be more the 2 to 4 unit, which more attainable for most people because those apartment complex is a whole.
It's a whole nother ballgame.
It's another beast.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much where we need to focus on. So tell me, Mr. Lender. How can I get started? I necessarily don't have a lot of money, but I would like to buy a multiple unit, like maybe a 2, 3, or 4 units.
Yeah,
how would that work if I'm a simple John Doe, but I don't have a lot of cash in hands?
Yeah, so for that type of situation, what I would advise a client to do is look to live in the property. Look for a property where you can live in one unit and then you can rent the other unit out. With the multifamily, you can actually do that going FHA, just putting 3.5% down. So it's a minimum down payment, just like purchasing your first time home. The only difference is that you're going to have some cash flow that you're able to have with having a renter there. And then the other good caveat to it is with that second unit, whatever rental analysis that the appraiser states that property can derive in rent, you can use 75% of that to help you qualify for the property before a tenant's even in there. So that's going to be cash flow that you can get instantly, so it helps your debt-to-income ratio out, and you'll be able to become, a beginning investor.
So pretty much, if someone see a unit that, let's say, $300,000 sales price, and on a $300,000 sales price, how much will be the monthly payment there with today's rate? Around 2,700 a month.
It could be. It could range around there depending upon location, tax rate, and what charges that they have associated with that area. But typically, yeah, for a first-time home buyer, if you want to go FHA, you could do that. Also, they changed the rules on conventional. Before, you would have to put 20% down to be able to go conventional to purchase a multi-unit. Now it's just 5% down as well. So night and day, they were able to change that.
So the rent, let's say that unit of $300,000, and let's say the monthly payment on it, we're just hypothetical number, but approximately. So let's say it's $2,700 a month, the mortgage on this one. If I decide to buy it, and I put 3.5% down. So at this point, let's say the rent on the other side, the tenant is paying $1,800 a month. In that scenario, how would that work for me who decide to buy it? Would the $1,800 will help?
Yeah, most definitely. So if you have that total amount that's due, you said what, 2,700?
27.
Yeah, 2,700. You got 1,800 that one side's paying, and you're just paying the difference, right? So you're living for a cheaper amount on the actual rental part, and then your house is paying off, being able to get paid off quicker.
Would you use the whole $1,800 monthly payment, or is it going to be a percentage? Like you say 75%?
Use 75% of that to qualify.
Oh,
now,
gotcha.
when you're getting your rental income, that's totally different. So
Okay.
you get the whole 1,800. Now, depending upon if you're trying to purchase more multi-units, however your tax prepares your taxes based off of your rental income, and that's going to show additional income. So remember, once you own that property for over a year, you have to file property taxes on it.
Of course.
Right? So within that first year, what we advise people to do, try to get as many properties as you can, because you can use that rental income up front.
Okay.
Right?
And you can go up to 4 maximum, right?
Up to 4 units. 1 to 4 units.
Okay. And then a 4 unit, does all 3 need to cover your mortgage, or is it going to be the same thing that the duplex?
Well, you're going to break it down in different amounts, depending upon what you want to do as the investor. So if you have something that, like you said, 2,700, and you want to chop that down in 4 different payments to equal that, you can do that. Or if you're trying to gain some more income based off and offset the mortgage, then you're going to charge a little bit more towards rent.
But as for closing costs and fees, would that be more expensive than the regular transaction?
No, it's going to be the same setup, just like if you were buying a 1-unit property.
And what about the appraisal? Do they going to charge? Because if it's, for example, 4 units, it's 4 properties to check.
They're going to do a rental analysis on the entire property. You're going to have the 4 units. The appraisal is going to be higher for a multi-unit property.
Okay.
So you're probably going to be looking at $850, depending upon how many units you have on the property. So yeah, the appraisal is more when you go multifamily range.
Okay, so that's pretty much your house hack. You go ahead and you find something that have multiple property that you can buy, and one of them you live inside. This is good if you have maybe children living close to, I don't know, your University of Houston area, for example, and then you can buy something like that, and then just have your child live on one side and tell them, hey, you're on your own, but you use the rental income to take care of yourself.
For sure.
That's super cool. And on the investment side, let's say now I want to buy it, but I just necessarily don't want to live inside. So then you fall into the investor category.
Investor side. So on that side, typical thing, minimum down payment is 15%. You're going to have a little mortgage insurance with that. Typically, we advise to do the 20% so you can eliminate the mortgage insurance. But if you're coming from an investment side, your credit score is going to have to be a little higher, somewhere in the 700 range, because now you want to be able to try to get the best interest rate that you can get. Because when you start going into the investment bucket, your interest rate is going to be higher. Your down payment's going to be higher. Then you have to start having reserves for each unit that you have just if something happens that you have, some extra money to be able to cover that.
So when you talk about reserve, what's the percentage or the amount approximately?
Well, it just depends. On a single family property, if you're buying a unit, you need at least 2 to 3 months of reserves for the PITI. Mm-hmm. When you start getting in multi-units, you need that same amount, but you need it for each unit. Right? So you just want to be able to have a reserve. When you're becoming an actual investor, that's where that liquid cash comes into part to be able to set you apart from the rest. Versus if you're going to buy it and you're going to live in one of the units and then rent the other unit out, that's when you don't have to come with that much money. And you don't have to have those reserves up front.
Okay. So what are the advantage? Well, let's look at the disadvantage. What are the disadvantage owning multiple unit property here in Houston area?
Well,
what do you think that is?
I mean, you got turnover with tenants.
Yep, for sure.
You might have it to where, people that are wanting to move, relocate for whatever reasons. So you have a higher turnover rate where you have to find other tenants to pick up that rent because you don't want to have an investment property where you have to cover, both sides. Now you're moving and getting into the red. The other things that you might have is deferred maintenance issues, right? Where, you might have a property and plumbing comes up and you have to fix that, or the roofing needs to be changed on the property. You have to do that. Or let's say, God forbid, a flood comes through and you have to fix the property up. And
so pretty much it's the same thing you would have if you purchase a property for yourself and you're living inside. The difference is you'll be responsible for somebody else because they're in there.
Exactly.
And also you have to make sure you respect the rental rule. Texas, for those that are in Texas, Texas landlord relationship.
Yeah.
And then, make sure, you know how to take care of them.
Yeah.
Because the 4 unit, if still it doesn't fall under the multiple unit like apartment because they have different code, different rule and all that. But when you're in a 2 to 4, you look up as a regular single landlord pretty much as far handling your thing. But do you guys scrutinize the people a little bit more for multiple unit versus a simple residential?
Yeah, like I stated, when it comes to the multi-units, if you're not living in that property, it's all about cash. How much money do you have up? Because when it comes to an underwriter and what their job is when they're underwriting a file, it's all about risk, right? So the higher the credit score, the lower the risk. The more assets you have, the lower the risk. So let's say you have a lower credit score, but you're putting more down payment down, right? That's going to help you out in that situation because you have liquid funds that are showing that, okay, my credit score might not be up to par where it needs to be, but I do have liquid cash that I can put down to lower the risk of this loan coming back to you guys. So when it comes to multi-unit properties, you have to have cash. You have to have cash. Once you have cash and they're able to see that on paper, your chances of getting approved is better.
Okay. But also, we need to take a look at the advantage. Well, one of the disadvantage is the occupancy. Like if you used to receiving $800 per unit, and then you have 4 of them, for example, and then it's empty, that's going to be a loss for a month until you find your next tenant. But the benefit of it is because you own that. When you own a house, you can offset the expenses on it, right? The interest rate and taxes. But because it's a multiple unit, even if you live inside, you have operation expense that you can use to your benefit.
Yeah.
For example, if you have some maintenance you have done, then you can use that as a write-off, reduce your taxes. If you had, whatever you have to spend on that on your property to take care of it, because you live inside, but the other side it kind of used as an investment, as a business, then you can use that. And also it's easier if you want to enter if buying multiple unit and even apartment one day it's in somebody's mind, it's a good way to enter it easily but at a lower number if you live in one unit, because You put the regular 3.5% down, because if you buy a separate home at 300,000 and then you have to put 5% down, it's $15,000, and then it's just one house and you live inside. But if you buy multiple unit, you have 2, 3, 4. It's not one house. It's a lot of doors.
It's all about the doors you can turn. So the more doors you can turn, the more cash flow you create. And that's the name of the game when it comes to investing. It's all about how many properties you can get, how many properties that you can get that are free and clear, how many properties that you have that will be able to have that cash flow to where now you just have residual income coming in, and when it's time to retire, you don't have to use that much of your own, money that you have saved.
Yeah. The only thing, though, in Houston area, it's not super duper duper popular multi-unit here, right? Sometimes if you go online and you check Houston Association of Realtor, HER.com, and you pull multiple units, you will see all the inventory available. There's not that many, and if the property is located in the right place, oftentimes it goes fast. But Houston is known for homes, affordable homes. You have big homes, single-family home for families, plenty of new construction, plenty of new community. But this is more for people that want to live in, not really invest in multiple unit. The multiple unit will see them most of the time in the city, and often is in less desirable neighborhood, and then which causes, I've seen some unit that I have some of my investor purchase or sell in some area. As soon the unit is empty, it get vandalized. So really pay attention which neighborhood, which location you try to have that. But if you have one in a good place, you're good. And some of them, they don't even have HOA, which you can use maybe one of the unit for Airbnb, as you're there.
For sure. And now you got like on the like Third Ward side, they're starting to develop a little bit more multi-units around in those areas. So hopefully in the future we'll see more multi-units being built to be able to create that cash flow, since now space is becoming real limited now because of the influx of people that have moved to Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this idea. My husband did that. His first home, he bought a duplex. He was living in one side, and he was renting the other side. Yeah. The other side was paying his entire mortgage. But as a newbie, he didn't pay attention. When he had his home inspection, he didn't pay attention to all the maintenance that the other side needed. And that tenant was there for a very, very long time. So please make sure you do your due diligence. You really go through that property. You really have a check with the tenant about what's going on, so you can put that in consideration when you submit your offer, or what you know to expect that repair you will do. Because he didn't pay attention, and he didn't know the roof on one side was all messed up. He needed to replace it. When it used to rain, the rain used to really fall into the house. So he had to replace the roof, which was a huge cost for a first-time buyer. Because the idea, a lot of people think, oh, that's very, that sounds cool. I want to buy, and I will leave one side and rent the other side. But you don't always realize when you purchase the home from another landlord, some landlord are slumlord, and they don't maintain the place. True. And then if the tenant doesn't complain much about it, and the property will keep falling apart. So if you don't read your inspection report and go through it in detail with your realtor, it could be an issue for you after. When you finally become the owner and you decide to live on the inside.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit more regarding multi-unit family. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No. I mean, just one of those things. If you want to look into becoming, an investor, or you want to look into, trying to get a multi-unit, you can definitely, give us a call. Number's 281-520-0015, and I can give you some more information pertaining to it. A lot of these cases are case by case. So
absolutely.
Everybody's situation isn't the next person's situation. So, yeah, definitely give me a call.
Yeah, so we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching today, et à bientôt.